Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just be officially updating you on some more transfer rumours and gossip. So there's lots to negotiate on this video today, but there's been a bit more additional information that's updated in regards to Romelu Lukaku. Now reportedly Romelu Lukaku is now set to stay at Manchester United, even though we do know for the entirety of this summer transfer window, he has been linked with move to Inter Milan, and obviously throughout the entirety of the summer, Lukaku has been speaking about a move to Inter Milan. So now reportedly, obviously, we want around £75 million for him or £80 million for him. Obviously, Inter Milan are struggling to meet this valuation. Recent reports have come out and basically suggested outside that reportedly Inter Milan have made their latest bid, but it is reportedly, still £10 million shorter than our valuation. So reportedly, Inter Milan are prepared to pay around £65 million for him. We've said we want around 75 or 80 million pounds. So basically, we're looking to generate the funds, that we did pay for him from Everton a couple of years ago. Obviously, as it did confirm yesterday, that Inter Milan sporting director, was in London, to hold negotiations with Manchester United, to get to thrash out a deal for Romelu Lukaku. I think also Lukaku did miss training yesterday. But obviously, reports emerged out earlier on this week, saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had held talks over Romelu Lukaku, pleading him to stay for one more season, because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did say, he wants Romelu Lukaku to remain at the football club for one more season and all that. Obviously, Lukaku did say earlier on this week that he does want to leave Manchester United, because obviously Lukaku has been unhappy the way that he's been treated by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for the last 6 months, because obviously, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been recommended in, obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first choice preference has been Marcus Rashford ahead of Romelu Lukaku, and we do know Lukaku is reluctant, to play up a backup role to Marcus Rashford and all that. But potentially, we do know he's been heavily linked with move to Inter Milan. Obviously, Inter Milan have tried to offload a couple of their players, to help them generate funds, to meet that 75 million or 80 million pound valuation. But obviously, Inter Milan, I think now we're not going to get him, because obviously, they can't afford Romelu Lukaku. Obviously, as well, we are unwilling to accept swap deals that Inter Milan have offered us. Obviously, they've tried offering us Mario Icardi as part of the deal for Lukaku. They've also tried offering us Ivan Perisic as part of the deal for Lukaku. I think there's also tried offering us Raji Nainggolan, but obviously Manchester United are only willing to let him go on a permanent deal. Reports did emerge out yesterday saying that reportedly Inter Milan were willing to make a 2-year loan offer for Lukaku. I think it's worth around £63 million. I think it also includes an obligation to buy, and he did say Inter Milan will probably reportedly pay around a £9 million loan fee, further payments of £27 million in June 2020, which is next year, and then another £27 million in June 2021. But obviously Manchester United didn't entertain this offer, because we're only willing to let him, of course, go on a permanent deal. Lukaku's agent, he came out the other week and he said that Inter Milan are desperate to sign Lukaku, because obviously, he's held quite a few negotiations with Inter Milan, but he did classify Lukaku's move to Inter Milan as complicated. But talks have been going on for several weeks, between Manchester United and Inter Milan. But reports did emerge out, I think was it just over a month ago, saying that Lukaku had allegedly agreed the personal terms with Inter Milan. It also said he had allegedly agreed a deal with around 180 grand a week and all that. But obviously Antonio Conte has identified Lukaku as his number one target. Obviously, reflecting back a couple of years ago when Antonio Conte was the manager of Chelsea, he wanted Lukaku at that point. But obviously, he ended up making the move to Manchester United, and obviously, he's identified him as his number one target. But Lukaku, recently described Antonio Conte as one of the best managers in the world. And obviously Lukaku is keen on playing under Antonio Conte's guidance, because probably believes he'll flourish under Antonio Conte's guidance. But we do know Lukaku's still got 3 years left on his contract with the club. Like I said, we're looking to recoup the money that we did pay for him a couple of years ago. Obviously, he is our second most expensive signing. But for the entirety of this window, he has been linked with move to Inter Milan. We do know Lukaku has been at the club 2 years. He scored 42 goals in 96 games in all competitions. Obviously, he was exceptional in his first season, but didn't really replicate that, of course, in his second season. I have got strong reservations about Lukaku. I have got strong reservations about him, but I think his, pedigree is good in the Premier League. His ratio is very, very good. He has scored a lot of goals in the Premier League, but as I said, we basically need to sell him, to help us with our rebuilding process and, of course, help us over our transition. But it's looking likely now he's going to be remaining loyal to Manchester United, because Inter Milan are struggling to fund that 75 million or 80 million pound valuation. So, according to recent reports now, it's looking likely, Romelu Lukaku is going to be staying at the football club. But like I said, I did say we need to sell players this summer anyway, to help us generate funds and, of course, rebuild the squad. Reflecting back what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did say in his press conference, he did say there has been a lot of talks and speculations around many of our players, both ins and outs. But Solskjaer did say, he's held talks with the vast majority of our players, throughout the course of this summer. Obviously, he's spoken with Lukaku, obviously he's spoken, with Lingard, he's spoken with Pogba and all that. So he has spoken to the majority of the players. But, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did say, we don't have any bids for our players. He says we basically don't need to sell players, but he also says, we don't need to overspend on players, so we're not intending on overspending on our current transfer targets. And obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's worked out his transfer strategy for some. Obviously, he wants to develop a squad of young, hungry, homegrown talents. And obviously, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer believes he's following a policy that proved successful under Alex Ferguson. I do believe we are moving away from the policy though of signing them well-established players, and quite a few people suggested out, we should be sensible of our recruitment this summer. There is still lots to address in the squad. Like I said, we have spent £65 million so far this summer on two players, obviously on Daniel James and Anwan Bissaka, and I think Anwan Bissaka, will do really, really good for Manchester United. I think he'll deliver the goods. I think he's got all the ingredients required to become a huge success at the club. One good thing as well, he's going to be, our first choice right back, going on into this season, Anwan Bissaka, and I think £50 million in this market this day and age is pretty reasonable, for a player of Anwan Bissaka's calibre. But yeah, I think he will deliver the goods to Manchester United. But obviously, we need more than Anwan Bissaka, and obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to want to build on this. And now I do believe his priorities are going to be, to get a experienced centre half in. He'll also, want to add reinforcements in that midfield. So there is still lots to address in the squad, like I currently said. But still lots to currently address in this squad. But like I said, some people said, we should be sensible with our recruitment this summer. I know it's going to be hard for us to attract players to elite level because obviously we're not in Champions League football for next season, and Champions League football is always very pivotal when you do want to get your number one target. It's also going to be hard for us, to convince our imperative players to stay at the football club. But I think, we definitely need a central defender. We need a couple of new additions in that midfield. We also need a right winner. Some people say getting a couple of midfielders in the right winner is actually more essential than getting a centre half in. But we have got issues defensively and all that. But like I said, we have been a toxic club for the last 5 or 6 years, and the main factor reason why we have been a toxic club because obviously we've been mismanaged. This is the main factor reason why we've been underachieving. We have had different managers with different philosophies, and there's still lots of work to be done in this squad because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still in the process of rebuilding, and obviously he wants to rebuild a squad and I hope we can rebuild a squad that can replicate what the squad did under Alex Ferguson era for 20 odd years of success. But like I said, I do believe our expectations going on to this season probably will be to finish in the top 4. I think our aspirations will be that top 4 for the next couple of seasons. I don't think we'll be winning the league next season or challenging for the league because I think we're at least a couple of years off doing that. And obviously, analysing it at the moment, City strides ahead of us. Obviously, Liverpool and that strides ahead of us. So it's very imperative, that we catch up with likes of Manchester City and Liverpool and all that. We've got to hurry up though in this window. We've got to be more competitive because there's only around 4 weeks remaining this current transfer window, so we have got to be more competitive in this summer window. But I do believe we need to sell players to help us generate funds and rebuild the squad. Obviously, allegedly, we've only been given £100 million to spend. That came out 3 weeks ago. It did provide the reason why it said we'd only been given £100 million to spend because obviously, we're not in Champions League football for next season and all that. But like I said, still there's lots that needs to be currently addressed in his squad. So looking likely now anyway, that Romelu Lukaku is going to be staying at the football club. I want to give you a bit more additional information in regards to Harry Maguire, as I have been updating you about him on a regular basis. I do believe now Manchester United do want to get a deal over the line for Harry Maguire before we do, finalise deal for Bruno Fernandes. So I think we are looking to bring a centre half in. Then I think our concentration then is going to be to add a couple of reinforcements in that midfield. So with Harry Maguire, obviously we do know he has been relentlessly linked with a move to Manchester United as Harry Maguire, as you all know. Obviously, reflecting back last summer, our priority was to actually recommend a central defender to come in. But obviously, reflecting back last summer, obviously the board weren't back in the signings that Jose Mourinho wanted to recommend to come in. So we didn't get our number 1 targets last summer. But with Harry Maguire, it's been mainly Manchester United and Manchester City battling out for his services. Obviously, it has confirmed now that Manchester City have withdrawn their interest. Obviously, reflecting back a couple of weeks ago, it was looking like that Manchester City were going to get the winning pole position to currently sign the player. It did say City were set to pay him around 280 grand a week. City were going to get him for the world record fee of £80 million. But obviously, the valuation that Leicester are demanding has put Manchester City off. So basically, Manchester City now have withdrawn their interest. Even though I do believe Harry Maguire's preference was actually to make a move to Manchester City, but they have now withdrawn their interest. And obviously, City were seeing Harry Maguire as a replacement for Vincent Kompany and all that. But I do believe now Manchester United are in pole position to currently sign him. Obviously, Mike Phelan has instructed Manchester United to get a deal over the line. Obviously, Sky Sports did report out, was it last week, saying that we had put a £70 million bid in for him. Obviously, this was too insufficient for Leicester because Leicester want somewhere in the region of around 85 or 90 million pounds. So this £70 million bid was turned down. Obviously, talks have been going on for several weeks between Manchester United and Leicester. Also, Manchester City have held talks with Leicester. But I think he would be the right player for Manchester United because I think we need to get at least one central defender in. Some people have said, maybe we need two central defenders because obviously, like Smalling isn't good enough. Obviously, Phil Jones and that isn't good enough. So some people said we need two central defenders, but we haven't had a world-class central defender, since we had the likes of Vidic, and of course since we had the likes of Ferdinand, we haven't had a Galactico centre half and all that. And obviously last season we conceded 54 goals in the Premier League last season, so that just proves the issues we've got defensively, and that centre back position has been a problem for a number of years now. And we finished sixth last season. We need to see vast improvements, of course, going on into this season. But I think Harry Maguire coming to Manchester United, he would definitely deliver the goods, and I do believe he would blend in alongside Victor Lindelof in our backline fantastically well, because obviously there was vast improvements in Victor Lindelof's game. There were vast improvements in Victor Lindelof's. Game in his second season with the club. He didn't really settle in his first season with Manchester United, Victor Lindelof. But I thought, he did really, really well in his second season. Distribution were good. He was showing that ability to part from the back. His passing in that area really, really good. So I think Victor Lindelof, he's developing and he's flourishing fantastically well. I think he'll get better and better. So we just basically need someone that can blend alongside him. And I think Harry Maguire, would be the right solution. It is going to take a world record fee for the defender from Manchester United, to get a deal over the line for him. But I think Harry Maguire has confirmed, he's indicated out that, he wants to go to a top six club, to rejuvenate his career and, of course, take his footballing career to the next level. 26 years of age, plus he's British, and there has been quite a few British players on our agenda, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to recruit, upcoming British talents to Manchester United this summer. And, Harry Maguire is 26 years of age, so he's basically still in his prime. He has been at Leicester a couple of seasons. He has made 76 appearances for Leicester in all competitions. Obviously 69 of those appearances have come in the Premier League. He only signed a new long-term contract with Leicester last summer, so he's on the contract with them until 2023. Obviously Leicester did pay around £17 million for his services from Hull City a couple of years ago. But yeah, I do really, really like him. I think Mike Phelan is keen on reuniting with the player. It did come out last week saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had asked the British players in our squad, about their thoughts about Harry Maguire, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did get good remarks. So I do believe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has identified Harry Maguire as his number one defensive target. But I think his distribution's good. Harry Maguire's, I think he's good in the air. I think he holds his line really, really well. His tenacity is good. He isn't really fast, but I don't think that's currently an issue. So Harry Maguire, would be a fantastic signing for Manchester United. So looking at ultimately, he could be our third signing this summer. Like I said, and that if we do get Harry Maguire on the board, that will take our spending to around £160 million so far this summer on free players. And £160 million is pretty reasonable, on free players. Like I said. But Harry Maguire would be fantastic. Also is very well Premier League proven, which is also very essential. I won't put him in Virgil van Dijk's calibre or level, Harry Maguire, but I think he's still regarded as one of the best centre halves in the Premier League without a shadow of a doubt. But yeah, very, very good player indeed. So he actually could be our third sign. So I think we are focusing on now getting a central defender in. Then we're going to focus on getting a couple of reinforcements in that midfield. But like I said, I think we want to get him for around 70 or 75 million pounds. Whether we're willing to pay 12 million pounds or not, I do not know. Leicester are convinced, Manchester United, will pay what they're currently demanding. But looking at it ultimately anyway, Leicester don't want to sell Harry Maguire. This is why they've priced him out of the transfer market, and of course, this is why they are demanding an extortionate amount. But yeah, there's been so many central defenders on our current agenda. But talking about that midfield, like I said, I think it's looking very likely that Paul Pogba, is going to be leaving the football club. So obviously we're going to have to get a replacement for him. So the news about Bruno Fernandes, as I've been updating you about him on a regular basis. Anyway, we do know for the entirety of the summer that Bruno Fernandes has been linked with a move to Old Trafford. And I think Manchester United have been considered the favourites to sign him at least for the last 3 to 4 weeks. Maybe even longer. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes has had negotiations with his agent over the potential move to Manchester United and all that. Obviously, Manchester United have not yet, come to an agreement on a fee with Sporting Lisbon. I think now we have been given a boost in our pursuit of Bruno Fernandes, as he did confirm today from the Daily Mail, because reportedly Sporting Lisbon are closing in on a replacement for Bruno Fernandes and all that. And the Sporting Lisbon president, Federico Varandas, he's basically agreed to sell Bruno Fernandes. I think he's initially valued from between 60 to 70 million pounds. Of course, Manchester United are not determined, to go anywhere near that figure. Bruno Fernandes' initial release clause is around 88 million pounds. Again, Man United are not willing to go anywhere near that figure. I think it did reportedly say the other week that we want to pay around 32 million pounds for his services, but obviously, this is too insufficient for Sporting Lisbon. Obviously, I think Manchester United have held more extensive talks with Sporting Lisbon this week over getting a deal finalised for the player. It also says that Manchester City have been in negotiations this week with Sporting Lisbon, so maybe they have now revived their interest in the player, because obviously, reflecting back around 6 or 7 weeks ago, Manchester City were closing in on getting a deal concluded for him, but obviously it did confirm Manchester City had withdrawn their interest. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes, I think, has notified his representatives that he wants to join Manchester United, so he has turned down Tottenham. He's also turned down Liverpool, because obviously Tottenham and Liverpool have been in for him, and I also think Tottenham and Liverpool have held negotiations with Bruno Fernandes' agent, because Bruno Fernandes' agent was allegedly in the UK last week to allegedly thrash out a deal with Manchester United. So the actual fee seems to be the stumbling block at the moment, because obviously Manchester United have not yet come to an agreement on a fee. It did say the other day that, Bruno Fernandes' transfer to Manchester United was a delay. I don't think this has got out to, could one of the main factor reasons be with the situation with Paul Pogba. I don't think what's going on with Paul Pogba has got all to do, with Bruno Fernandes. I don't think it has any effect on Bruno Fernandes, coming here to Manchester United. So I think, Bruno Fernandes' move to Manchester United is not dependent on, of course, what happens with Paul Pogba. But I'm hopeful we can still get this deal over the line. I think we're prioritised to sign, we're prioritising a transfer for Harry Maguire. Then I think we're going to, turn our attentions then more on Bruno Fernandes. But like I said, he's been one of our priority targets throughout the entirety of this summer. I think he would be a good adequate replacement for Paul Pogba. He's only 24 years of age, he's Bruno Fernandes, and he's served a couple of years in Portugal. He's tied up in Portugal really, really well, but him coming to Manchester United, he's going to rejuvenate his career, he's going to take his footballing career to the next level, and not only that, he's going to dramatically improve in that midfield. He's going to, score them goals that we need. He's also going to create, assists. He can also create chances, really, really well, and he has proven this in his 2 years with Sporting Lisbon. Obviously, he signed a 5-year contract with Sporting Lisbon last summer, so he's on the contract with them until 2023. Obviously, spent the majority of his career in Italy when he was younger with the likes of Sampdoria. I think he also played for Udinese. He also played for Novia, so has been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation. He did play in that friendly a couple of days ago, did Bruno Fernandes, even though it initially said he was going to be pulled out of that friendly, reflecting on his potential move to Old Trafford. So I do believe Manchester United, will hold more talks with Sporting Lisbon. So hopefully, we can get that deal currently finalised. But that midfield area, we've got to address it, because obviously since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrived, obviously Ander Herrera's left. Obviously he left on a free transfer, so we need a replacement for him. Obviously Fellaini left back in the January transfer window. Obviously Valencia, who was a right back, obviously has obviously left the club. Obviously he served a decade there with Manchester United. But obviously we've got the replacement for Valencia through Wan-Bissaka. So obviously we're going to need now a replacement for Ander Herrera. We've got the likes of Tominway, but like I said, he's too inexperienced at the moment, and obviously he's one of our fringe players. We've got like some McTominay, but obviously, he's one of our fringe players, obviously, and he's too inexperienced. We've got Fred, but I don't know if Fred is a long-term solution for Manchester United. We paid £50 million for Fred. Obviously, one of our most expensive signings. Hasn't really been given the chance at Manchester United. Didn't really get the chance under Mourinho. And obviously, we've got Matic, and the man Matic, of course, isn't currently getting any younger. And he's too slow, and he is too ineffective, is Nemanja Matic. So we definitely we have got to get a couple of new additions in that midfield. But regardless of anywhere of what happens with Paul Pogba, I still think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, is orchestrating, and bringing two new additions in that midfield. Being given you news today, haven't I, in regards to Sean Longstaff. I do believe now, we could withdraw our interest in Sean Longstaff, reflecting on the hefty price tag that Newcastle have put on him. Newcastle have indicated out that Sean Longstaff is now not for sale. I think he's part of their plans, for their future and all that, as Newcastle have currently confirmed. I thought initially we had been given a boost in our pursuit of the player, following the departure of Rafa Benitez, but I think Newcastle have confirmed that, Sean Longstaff is still fully committed to the club, but reportedly Newcastle want around £50 million, of course, if they are willing to offload the player. Probably, it's very, very unlikely, that Manchester United, will pay up to £50 million for him, because we only initially value Sean Longstaff from between 18 to 20 million pounds, and obviously Newcastle are asking for over double that and all that. It did confirm, well, Sky Sports did report it, I think it was last weekend, that Manchester United had held high level talks with Newcastle about Sean Longstaff. It did say no official bid has been put in as yet. It did reportedly say we was preparing to put a bid in for him around £30 million and all that. But yeah, there has been a lot of talks about Sean Longstaff going on. It did say, I think it was it last week, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer instructed Manchester United to get a transfer prioritised for Sean Longstaff. And he is a pretty decent player. I think he did thrive under Rafa Benitez's guidance last season. Obviously, he only made his senior debut for Newcastle in December of last year and all that. Obviously, he got a new contract, so he's under contract with Newcastle to 2022. He initially, began his career with Newcastle. I think he also had loan spells with Kilmarnock and Blackpool, but only 21 years of age. Primarily a central midfielder, so he obviously, he's a box-to-box midfielder. He's Sean Longstaff. Obviously, I still believe he's regaining full fitness. Obviously, he had sustained a knee ligament injury back in March, so he didn't play the last couple of months of last season. But now, reportedly, Newcastle have said, they want around £50 million. So I do believe now we'll probably withdraw our interest in the current player. But yeah, I definitely don't think he's worth £50 million. And like I said, he only made his senior debut in December of last year. But you know what? Even if Sean Longstaff was to come to Manchester United, he wouldn't be, he wouldn't be assured, to get, straight into the first team. And he wouldn't be assured, to get first team football, week in, week out, and all that. So I would be very sceptical about that. I think he would dramatically improve in that midfield. And I think in this market, this day and age, probably 25 or 30 million pounds is reasonable for Sean Longstaff. But I think, more than that, he's asking for too much. And, I think we should drop out. I think we should drop out of the race now, because Newcastle are demanding too much, of course, of the player. But there has been a hell of a lot of talks going on about Sean Longstaff. But like I said, under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, everybody's, going to get given the opportunity. And like reflecting back when he was the interim manager in his first 3 months last season and all that, he did say he was going to give everybody the chance, and he did. He gave the fringe players a chance. He gave the fringe players a chance, the young players a chance, and all that, which is very, very good. And he will do the same now. He's going to give Daniel James a chance. I don't know if Daniel James, will be assured to get first team football, week in, week out. Like I said, I am still a bit sceptical about that. I do presume Manchester United will put Daniel James on the left hand side, because that's where he's supposed to be more effective. But yeah, everybody, will get the chance under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, which is good. Obviously, the good news is as well, Mason Greenwood's going to be playing more games going on into this season, as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did confirm in his press conference. That's very, very good news. So Mason Greenwood, will be getting promoted into the first team, because Mason Greenwood did play well towards the back end of last season. So yeah, everybody will get given the chance. But there has been a lot of talks and speculations about many of our players, both ins and outs. This summer, as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was mentioned. It's mentioned in his press conference, earlier on in the week. But we don't have to overspend our transfer targets, and this is obviously also what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer mentioned. But he said, we haven't received any bids for our current players as yet. But with Sean Longstaff, I do believe now probably Manchester United will withdraw their interest, even though Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is keen on recommending him to the football club. And I think if he came to Manchester United, it would rejuvenate his career. And I do believe he'd have all the ingredients required, to become a huge success at the club. Obviously, he would be playing amongst better players at Manchester United. Plus, he'd be coming to a bigger club. But, I think £50 million is basically not asking for too much. Obviously, as we do know, there's been a lot of talks going on since the weekend about, Serge Milinkovic-Savic from Lazio. Obviously, it does say Manchester United are in for him, and I do believe, we've identified him as one of our number one targets, to actually, replace Paul Pogba at the football club. I think Milinkovic-Savic's move to Manchester United is probably dependent on what happens with Paul Pogba, because I think we only want to get a deal finalised for Milinkovic-Savic, of course, if Paul Pogba, leaves the football club. So it has confirmed Manchester United have been in talks with Lazio. Obviously, it did say at the weekend, if I'm right, his current agent travelled to the UK, and I do believe Manchester United have held negotiations with their current agent. Milinkovic-Savic is 24 years of age. Of course, he is Serbian. I do believe he's primarily a central midfielder, so he is mainly box to box. So he's 24, so he has still got a lot of years ahead of him. I do believe that Milinkovic-Savic has been relentlessly linked to a move to Manchester United. I think Manchester United would also link to him last summer and all that. So he has been relentlessly linked to a move to the club. He's currently at Lazio. Like I said, he's been at Lazio in about 4 seasons. I think he scored 31 goals in 138 games. So he has demonstrated that he can score goals. He can provide. He can also create chances as well. I think he's been inconsistent for the last 6 months with Lazio, but I think generally he's technically a good footballer. I think his tenacity is supposed to be really, really good. So I do believe he would be a good replacement for Paul Pogba. Obviously, Sky in Italy did report out earlier on in the week saying that, we are preparing or we have put around a £72 million bidding for him. This could be too insufficient for Lazio, because I think Lazio are seeking for somewhere in the region of around £90 million, as the Lazio president has currently confirmed. So this is what, it basically said. But, like I said, in his 4 years with Lazio, he scored 31 goals in 138 games. I think he signed a new deal with Lazio last October, so he's under contract with them until 2023. Obviously, Milinkovic-Savic hasn't played in the Premier League as yet, but do you believe he'd have all the attributes, to come and succeed in the Premier League? And, we would, potentially, currently find out. So he's been one of the players that's mentioned, who could replace Paul Pogba at Manchester United. I probably do believe there's more credibility in Milinkovic-Savic coming to Manchester United than there is in Mario Lemina. I know there has been a lot of talks going on about Mario Lemina in the last 3 to 4 days. Obviously, we'll probably see him as a replacement for Paul Pogba. I don't believe there's a lot of credibility in Mario Lemina coming to Manchester United. I might be proven wrong, but for me, Mario Lemina wouldn't be the right type signing for Manchester United. I think he'd be more of an Arsenal type signing, if you get what I mean. Also, Manchester United, Arsenal, and Leicester have inquired about Mario Lemina's services. Obviously, he's proven in the Premier League. He's had 2 years of experience under his belt in the Premier League. But Mario Lemina, I think, has informed Ralph Hasenhuttl, that he wants to leave Southampton. He does still want to continue playing his trade in England, because he said he wants to stay in England, but he's indicated that he wants to go to a big club. So obviously Mario Lemina wants to rejuvenate his career, of course, take his footballing career to the next level. Obviously didn't travel with Southampton's squad for their pre-season trip to Austria, so he's confirmed he wants to leave Southampton. And Mario Lemina has been mainly out of favour with Southampton, especially last season, with the amount of injuries he'd currently sustained. He's got 3 years left on his contract with Southampton. I think he's made 46 appearances in the Premier League for Southampton. He's made 52 appearances in all competitions. But yeah, Southampton are open to selling him because of it. I think Southampton are looking to recoup the initial £18 million, that they did pay for him from Juventus and all that. So this is what, they're looking to recoup the initial £18 million they paid for him. Southampton also give him permission to talk to other clubs, so I do believe Mario Lemina has held talks with Manchester United and all that. He's also held talks with quite a few other clubs. Mario Lemina, when he was younger, began his career in France. He played with Lorient. He also had a couple of years with Marcella, and then obviously, had a couple of years in Turin with Juventus. But he's 25 years of age. He's Mario Lemina. He's a Gabonese international. He's primarily a central midfielder, and I do believe he can break up the plays, energetic and all that. Mainly box-to-box midfielder, but can play in other positions. Well, he's played in various other positions, so his versatility is good. He has played as a winger. He's played as a left-back. He's played as a full-back, He's played as a wing-back. He's played as a central defender, so versatility in that, really, really good. But I just don't think he would be the right type of sign for Manchester United. And I do believe Mario Lemina has played alongside Paul Pogba. But like I said, I don't think he would be the right type of signing for Manchester United. But yeah, I think what I've seen of him, he can score goals and all that. He's only scored, well, to be fair, he's only scored around 2 goals Southampton. But I think during his time with Juventus, he was impressive. Don't really know much about him when he was at Marseille and all that. I wasn't really watching him much then. But he has got a lot of years ahead of him. I gave you the news, didn't I, earlier on, in regards to Paul Pogba and all that, because we do know that Paul Pogba has been relentlessly, linked to with move away from Manchester United and all that, and we do know he has been, relentlessly, linked to with move to Real Madrid, had also been linked to with move to Juventus, but obviously as it did confirm, I was reading reports today, I updated you about this on my earlier video, it does reportedly say now that Juventus have ended their interest in Paul Pogba, they've ended their interest in Paul Pogba. I think Pavel Nedved, the vice chairman of Juventus, has notified Paul Pogba's agent Mini Raiola that of course Juventus are no longer in now for Paul Pogba, because obviously Juventus are looking to get the pursuit of other midfielders, so they've got they've got other midfielders on their current agenda. Obviously Juventus have done good business this summer. They've got quite a few players in. I think they're on the verge of getting De Ligt in. They've also got Adrian Rabiot in. I think they've got Ronaldo last summer. They've also got Aaron Ramsey in, but more than likely Juventus would have to offload a couple of their essential players anywhere to fund the move for Paul Pogba, because I don't think Juventus would be able to afford him outright, reflecting on the huge fee we've put on Paul Pogba. Juventus had been in negotiation with Paul Pogba's agent Mini Raiola, and don't forget Paul Pogba did have 4 good years in Turin, but hasn't really replicated this since he did make the return to Manchester United. So yeah, that did basically get confirmed. But like I said, Paul Pogba, reports did suggest out last month, saying that Paul Pogba is seeking for a new challenge. Publicly admitted, that he wants to leave Manchester United for the first time, and he even did say, he was even willing to go on strike at one point, to force a move away from the club. Obviously, Paul Pogba has gone on tour, with the rest of the Manchester United squad, rest of our current squad. Obviously, last week, Paul Pogba, was absent from pre-season training, so that added more speculation in regards to his long-term future. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer still believes he can try and convince Paul Pogba to remain at the football club, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows how much of an imperative player he is. I think, we're very adamant that Paul Pogba's not for sale, but he did say, would accept a bid in the region around £150 million. But like I said, in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference, he'd been peppered with questions about Pogba. He'd also been asked, questions about the quotes that his agent Raiola came out with last week. And, Solskjaer, did really, really well in that press conference, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer praised Paul Pogba in that press conference, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to keep him at the football club and all that. But I do believe for a long time Paul Pogba's first choice preference has been Real Madrid, and his likely destination, of course, has been Real Madrid. But Real Madrid are not keen on a straight cash payment. Real Madrid basically desperate to include Gareth Bale in their pursuit of Paul Pogba. I think Real Madrid anyway are looking to offload a couple of their players, to help them generate funds, to fund that £150 million valuation. So if Pogba goes to Real Madrid, possibly Bale, could be still part of the deal. Obviously, Real Madrid so far this summer have done good business. They've got 5 players on the board. They have spent over £300 million, and obviously I think Paul Pogba is keen on playing under Zinedine Zidane's guidance. But it's been an issue in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plan, to actually build a side around Paul Pogba. But yeah, he has been subject to a hell of a lot of transfer speculation and all that. But like I said, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has held talks with Paul Pogba, in regards to his long-term future. Obviously came out the other week saying that we was reportedly willing to offer him a long-term contract, rough up to around $500,000 a week to try and convince him to remain at the football club. It also said Ole Gunnar Solskjaer tried to offer him the captaincy again to try and convince, vice captaincy, to try and convince him to remain at the football club. But Paul Pogba's agent Mini Raiola has been in the process of finding him a new club, at least for the last couple of months. Paul Pogba's still got 2 years left on his contract with the club. 2 years left with an option to extend it by a further year. Obviously, he's our most expensive signing. Obviously, he's one of the highest paid players at the club because he is on around $290,000 a week. And even though Paul Pogba hasn't been the fundamental player as we all thought he would have been, I'd still say he's worth in the region of around I'd still say he's worth in the region of around 100. I still say he's worth in the region of around 140 or 150 million pounds in this market, this current day and age, because he's still arguably one of the best midfielders in the world. I said when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer managed the Manchester United reserve team, he watched some of this team at this day and age grow and develop, and of course one of them was Paul Pogba. And, they had built a great relationship, but Paul Pogba and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and all that. But like I said, Paul Pogba last season made 47 appearances for the club in all competitions. He scored 16 goals, provided 11 assists. I think, since he rejoined Manchester United in 2016, he's scored 31 goals in 135 games. Obviously, he's won the Europa League and the League Cup with us. Obviously, that came in his second season and that with Manchester United. But Paul Pogba, 26, still in his prime, and, he has still got a lot of years ahead of him. But maybe the couple of main factor reasons why he wants to leave the club, because maybe he wants to be playing amongst better players. Maybe he wants to be in a Champions League footballer and all that. Maybe he wants to be winning silverware, and he's probably frustrated with lack of competitiveness at Manchester United. So maybe he's really frustrated at that. Listen, maybe he feels as though he isn't playing amongst good enough players at the football club. But yeah, like I said, Juventus have now ended their interest, as Pavel Nedved has confirmed. The vice chairman of Juventus has told his agent Raiola. So now I do believe it's only Real Madrid now that are in there for Paul Pogba. But like I said, we have got to get a replacement for him. But I think us selling Paul Pogba, we can definitely get over £100 million, and the money we do generate from his departure, we can get around maybe 2 or maybe even 3 players with the money. We do currently generate. But Real Madrid will not pay up to £150 million and all that. But Real Madrid are desperate, to include Bale as part of the deal. I do believe we need to sell Darmian and Rojo. Definitely need to sell Darmian and Rojo because they both enjoyed difficult times at the club, and I think we can generate around 25 or £30 million for their departures. Sanchez is I think Sanchez will be at the football club going on into this season. Sanchez, definitely will be at Manchester United because for the entirety of the summer, we've been trying to get rid of Sanchez, but obviously we found it very, very difficult to get rid of him. Reflecting on his substantial wages. So. Yeah, I think Sanchez is going to be here going on into this season. I think Sanchez is still injured at the moment. I don't think his injury is too severe, according to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, what he said early on in the week in his press conference. I mean, we've got quite a few players injured, to be quite honest with you. Obviously, I said another problem with Manchester United, we did let far too many players' contracts run down at one point, but we've resolved that problem now, which is good. Obviously, De Gea is on the verge of signing a new contract. Pereira, Alex Tuanzebe got new deals last week. Rashford signed a new long-term contract last week. Obviously, Mata signed a new contract a couple of weeks ago. Obviously, Martial signed a 5-year deal back in January. McTominay last season signed a new long-term contract. Obviously, Smalling and Jones got given new long-term contracts last season. That was bad business for Manchester United. Young signed a new 1-year extension. Like currently said. But yeah, there's so many current players on our current agenda. Like I said, he's still in the process of rebuilding Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and I hope to say that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, is the right man, to get Manchester United, back to glory, and I hope to say he's got the stature, to get us in that current commanding position, and he does know the club inside out, and, he was a great player for Manchester United for 11 years under Alex Ferguson's guidance. He flourished very, very well, and he is following Alex Ferguson's philosophies, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He has got a bit of experience to him as a manager. He has got a bit of experience, He did all right with Mold, he won a couple of Norwegian titles and that with Mold, and I think he did it. He got a great achievement at Mold, but he hasn't really got that experience of a manager, not to the highest level. But like I said, the majority of this squad's not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's. There's only 2 players that are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's, and that's obviously Dan James and Wan-Bissaka, of course. But like I always said, we've got to get the right recruitment this summer, and we didn't spend out in January. We didn't get our number 1 targets there last summer. Obviously, as you all do know, we do play Perth Glory tomorrow in our first pre-season game. I was going to do a preview of that, but I didn't really bother. I haven't really read up to the preview to the game, to be quite honest with you. Also, to notify you guys, I am going away for a couple of days. I'm going away tomorrow, so maybe won't be on this channel for the next couple of days, just to notify you on. I should have really mentioned this at the start of the video, but maybe if I go away, if I can find some internet connection, I will still give you an odd video or 2, but I am back, I'm going tomorrow, and then I will be back, I think, by Monday morning. So definitely, so I may not be on YouTube in the next couple of days and all that. But yeah, we do play Perth Glory tomorrow. I think it is a 12 o'clock kickoff and all that. But yeah, I will check it up or not. So if I can get, when I do go away, and if I can get, some kind of internet connection, I will be on the channel. If I can't, I won't be on in the next couple of days. So I just basically, wanted to notify you guys about that. But the main part of this video, was to give you the latest news about Lukaku. I think he's now set to stay at Manchester United because Inter Milan now can't afford him. We said we want 75 or 80 million pounds. Inter Milan are struggling to meet this valuation. They're willing to pay 65 million, but obviously that's still 10 million pounds short of our current current valuation. So I do believe now Lukaku is going to be remaining at the football club. It has been looking very likely he's going to be leaving. Fletcher, especially this week, saying that, he's told Solskjaer, he wants to leave Manchester United. He's made a decision on his future. But I always said, didn't I, the fee was the stumbling block in Lukaku of making his proposed move to Inter Milan. I may do one more video soon. If not, then I'll probably maybe on in the next couple of days or Monday. I said it's dependent on whether I can get any internet connection, while I am currently away. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider subscribing, as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.